like father, like daughter. French and pro-Macron media are delighted that Marine Le Pen is out of the political game. She's already been labeled a political corpse and assigned a spot in the cemetery next to her relative, who at least was spared from witnessing the downfall of his child. The main rival of the current leader of the Fifth Republic was sentenced by a Paris court to 4 years in prison, 2 of which are suspended, the rest with an electronic bracelet. Most importantly, she was banned from participating in elections for 5 years. According to polls, she would easily surpass all political competitors for the French Lynch leadership. But now in high offices, they're rubbing their hands because the plan worked.
The system dropped a nuclear bomb. The reason they're using such powerful weapons against us is obviously because we're about to win the elections. They know that everything they've orchestrated hasn't worked. And so, it's time to take another step forward.
The most interesting thing is that this step was taken not in the heat of the moment, but over long past events. The investigation against Le Pen began back in 2014 and is related to the embezzlement of European Parliament funds. Allegedly, the politician and several of her colleagues spent money on party staff they hired as parliamentary assistants. In general, it seems the case was saved for a rainy day, which unexpectedly came. But everything happening is not just a political crackdown. It's a catalyst for the division of a society that has already forgotten when it was last united.
This is outrageous. It's a serious attack on democracy. 40% of French voters have been deprived of the opportunity to vote for their candidate. I think this is truly a political death sentence. What happened is a political trial, not justice. We are officially entering a dictatorship in France. It's the judges who decide for us who we can have as our representatives and who we can't. I find this scandalous.
Many foreign politicians have stood up for the victim of democracy. Viktor Orban, Giorgia Meloni, Geert Wilders, Milorad Dodik. The list is extensive. And Donald Trump drew parallels with the USA and how Biden's cronies once tried to get rid of him.
This is a big deal. It's a very big deal. I know all about it. And many people thought she would never be convicted. I don't know if this means a guilty verdict, but she's been banned from running for 5 years. She's a leading candidate. It's similar to our country. It's very similar to our country.
But it doesn't matter much, as no concrete steps have been taken against official Paris. No sanctions, no flight bans, no diplomatic breakups. After all, France is part of the collective West, and it's not customary to go against one's own there. However, there is some encouraging news. A decision on the appeal against the verdict could be made next summer. If the judges side with Le Pen, she might still run for the French presidency in 2027. The fate of Gagauzia's head, Evgenia Hutsul, is no less sad. Moldovan authorities, with parliamentary elections approaching, clearly decided to eliminate any dissent, and if possible, the pro-Russian autonomy as well. The Moldovan politician was detained in a case of illegal campaign financing during the 2023 elections.
Maya is the current president of Moldova. She received less than 3% of the votes. The same referendum, what she expressed European integration, also failed in Gagauzia. I think that somewhere it resonates with the Gagauz people, with our autonomy.
Of course, this story hasn't attracted much attention. The country is small, not wealthy, and submissive because it's heading to the EU, or rather, it's being led there. Sandu and her company have literally usurped power with foreign money. They lost the presidential election with her, and to prevent this from happening again, they decided to deal with the fragile woman. But they miscalculated a bit. They can't concoct a convincing case, and what's happening with Hutsul has made her a symbol of Moldovan resistance.
By throwing her into prison number 13, Maya Sandu made her the #1 opposition figure. Images of a fragile brunette, a mother of 2 young children, being led to court by burly men in balaclavas have spread worldwide. Any heart would tremble. And if before she inspired trust and genuine sympathy among her supporters, now it's respect. Respect for her stance, her resilience, her courage to challenge authority.
It's amazing, but in recent years, Moldovans have been convincingly equated with Romanians. Read, assimilate and absorb. But in temperament, they're not like their neighbors. Sandu and her cronies have driven the country and its people to near poverty, but Moldovans endure stoically. Now they're trying to deprive them of any hope for the future.
How can you watch all this calmly? How? Take our Evgenia Alexandrovna, they're leading her into 8 barns. What is this? What did she do? Is she a murderer?
But all the rallies, protests, and other actions of discontent by ordinary citizens don't reach the status of national movements. But it's time they did. And there's no need to look far for an example. Let them remember how Romanians dealt with Ceausescu for similar mistreatment. No, of course, no one should be shot. And don't think this is a call to overthrow the country's constitutional order. But we can't live like this anymore. And let Brussels take the president if they need her so much. However, these women are not alone in their misfortune. Even last year, Germany was actively dealing with political competitors before the European Parliament elections. The persecution against the Alternative for Germany even involved heavy artillery in the form of von der Leyen.
You have to imagine this. The AfD party, which always talks about the people in the homeland, has nothing better to do than hand over this very homeland behind the people's back to autocrats in Russia and China. Such people have no place in the European Parliament. Such people belong in the dock.
And lo and behold, in April 2024, searches were conducted at one of the headquarters of the Alternative for Germany due to allegedly undeclared donations, specifically 48,000 euros. One employee was even accused of espionage for China, and some politicians, but already before the parliamentary elections, even intended to pull a Romanian scheme with the unwanted party.
We will apply our laws in Europe when there's a risk they might be circumvented, and if not applied, it could lead to interference. We did it in Romania, and obviously we'll have to do it, if necessary, in Germany.
But despite the thinning ranks and other intrigues, in the February elections, the party took a confident second place. And its ratings continue to grow. If Merz makes a few more wrong moves, his chancellorship could be in great jeopardy. And in the event of new elections, the Alternative has every chance of leading. And a bit more about the mentioned Romania. In Europe, they liked how cleverly they dealt with Georgescu, but the one who was an inconvenient presidential candidate so much that they're eager to adopt the experience. In Poland, preparations for the elections are already underway. A tense battle is expected between the candidates from Tusk's ruling coalition and the opposition, including Law and Justice. So the media claims that the Internal Security Agency contacted Romanian intelligence, studying materials used to annul the vote. And the head of the Polish regime, who is not favored by Brussels, previously expressed concern that European structures might influence the elections if the results are not favorable. Well, we will gladly watch this battle of the lords.